Hi, this is Miss White, and welcome to Lesson 1.2, WIDA Goal Setting. So today, of course, we're going to be talking about your WIDA score from last year and setting a goal related to that. But we're also going to just think and talk about goals in general and think about this big question: how do goals affect your identity, who you are? So before we start, I want to talk to you about 5 ways goals can make you happier. And I put this picture of this climbing baby because I think that having goals is really natural. Like, people want to learn and people want to get better. As you get older, though, you kind of have to start thinking more about what you want your goals to be because you already know how to walk, you already know how to talk. Like, a baby just naturally wants to do those things. The first way goals make you happier is that they give you hope. For example, when schools closed in March, I decided to make some goals for quarantine so that I would feel more hopeful. I was feeling a little sad that I wouldn't get to see my friends and family as much, so I decided I wanted to learn Spanish and I wanted to get better at playing ukulele, and that gave me hope. They give you a sense of purpose. So having goals can kind of give you this extra boost, like you have a reason for doing something. Instead of just doing it because someone else wants you to do it, or it's just like you're just kind of going through life without any kind of feeling of what you want to do. They help you know what's important and what you should do. Third, they increase your motivation and energy. When you have a goal, it can give you this boost. It's almost like you're more awake because you want to make it happen. Even if you're tired, it can push you. Fourth, you can map out what you want to achieve in your life. If you have goals, you can achieve more because you know where you want to go. Lastly, you can use them to find the best version of yourself. If you have goals, you can get to be a better friend, a better student, a better athlete, whatever you care about, better artist. It can help you be your own best. Okay, so imagine that we're taking a time machine. You're taking a time machine back to elementary school to your most difficult subject. What advice would you give your younger self about how to succeed? My hardest subject was math, and I really thought that I was just bad at math. But now my advice would be you just have to practice more, and you can get it. Please be that kind and helpful to yourself now. When you're making goals, talk to yourself like you would talk to a younger sibling that you really love. I know you're really great big brothers and sisters, and if you don't have a younger sibling, imagine your younger self and how you would talk to them. Here are 2 quotes, and I want you to think about one in the question to the right. The first is: success is not a big step in the future. Success is a small step taken right now. The other, number 2, is: success is a staircase, not a doorway. Pick one of those. What does that mean to you? Can you think of an example? Okay, this lesson is going to be very vocab heavy, which is great because this class is called Academic Language and you're going to be learning some academic language words. So our first academic language word is achieve. It's a pretty easy word. It just means to get or reach something by working hard. I want to achieve my goal of publishing a book. What do you want to achieve? Achievement is the noun version of achieve. So it's something that has been done or achieved through effort, like the result. A great achievement for me was when I was voted most likely to succeed at my high school. That's a picture of me from my high school yearbook. So achieve is the kind of like your goal, and achievement is when it happens, when you reach it, basically. Okay, develop is to grow or become bigger or more advanced. So, like I told you earlier, I wanted to study Spanish since coronavirus hit. I'm using the app Duolingo to develop my Spanish skills. So, if you want to think of an example, it's like if you could say grow, I'm using the app Duolingo to grow my skills in blah, blah, blah. That works. Just put develop where grow would go. Development is the noun version. It means growth. I'd like to thank my students for helping my development as a teacher. When I first started, I wasn't that good, but my students have helped me to grow, to develop, and now I'm much better. So thank you. Okay, now we're getting on to identity. Identity is who someone is. So some parts of your identity you choose, and some parts you don't choose. So the parts that you don't choose are things like your where you're from, your skin color, your sexual orientation, things like that are just part of who you are. That's part of your identity. Like, I am a woman. That is part of my identity. I was born that way, and so that's part of something that I didn't choose. But the parts that you do choose can be related to your goals. So being a musician is a part of my identity. I had to practice a lot and have goals for music to really feel like that was part of my identity. Like, I like art, but I wouldn't say I'm an artist. That's not part of my identity because I don't practice. I can't just say I'm an artist because I want to be. I have to actually do it. Identify is kind of related. It's to know and say who someone is or what something is. So here's something pretty crazy that I learned I could do. I can kind of identify other musicians by looking at people's hands. Of course, that's not, I can identify people who play an instrument by their hands. They have this kind of way of, I don't know, it's just a certain look that musicians' hands have. I think your hands change as you play music a lot. If you're singing, that's a different story, but that's something I can do. Okay, I'm going to read you this story from Michael Jordan. If you don't know who he is, he's probably one of the best basketball players in the US ever. So I'll read his from his book, I Can't Accept Not Trying. Okay, so here's what he said. And I'm going to the second paragraph right here. I approached everything step by step. I had always set short-term goals. As I look back, each one of the steps or successes led to the next one. When I got cut from the varsity team as a sophomore in high school, I learned something. I knew I never wanted to feel that bad again. So I set a goal of becoming a starter on the varsity. That's what I focused on all summer. When I worked on my game, that's what I thought about. When it happened, I set another goal, a reasonable, manageable goal that I could realistically achieve if I worked hard enough. I guess I approached it with the end in mind. I knew exactly where I wanted to go, and I focused on getting there. As I reached those goals, they built on one another. I gained a little confidence every time I came through. If your goal is to become a doctor and you're getting C's in biology, then the first thing you have to do is get B's in biology and then A's. Biology is like science when you study life. You have to perfect the first step and then move on to chemistry or physics, which are other science classes. Take those small steps. Otherwise, you're opening yourself up to all kinds of frustration. Where would your confidence come from if the only measure of success was becoming a doctor? If you tried as hard as you could and didn't become a doctor, would that mean your whole life was a failure? Of course not. All those steps are like pieces of a puzzle. They all come together to form a picture. Not everyone is going to be the greatest, but you can still be considered a success. Step by step, I can't see any other way of accomplishing anything.